Hello and welcome here live from Amsterdam at another edition of the ICA Hybrid Workshop, live from the ICA Research, Sales and Marketing Program in Amsterdam. Association bidding, is it all about beauty, strategy or cash? We're going to find out in the next 2 hours, where you will be involved in this exclusive session broadcasted to a worldwide audience and where you will be able to participate. And I urge you to do so, because if you influence what happens here on site, it's actually going to be a lot more exciting. So what are we going to do today? As you can see, behind me is a big stage. For the first 30 minutes, I'm going to introduce you into the panelists and speakers that are going to appear on stage as soon as the clock hits 9 here in Amsterdam. From stage, we will talk with association representatives who actually are your future, or could be your future clients, or could represent the thoughts and ideas of your future clients. So you can actually learn from them, actually find out what it's like on the other side of the table. Then after this interactive piece, I will get these panelists back here in the studio to answer all your specific questions. And that's what this event is really all about. The live delegates that you will soon see drop in behind me actually brought their own cases into this event. And I urge you to think about the latest bits you've been working on, or the current bits that you've been working on. Think about stuff you struggle with and make sure you use these 2 hours to actually gain some insights and make sure you're actually going to win that next bid. As I said, we're here in the house of ICA, ICCA, the International Conference and Convention Association. Basically, a place to be for anybody who's involved in international association meetings, whether it's as a supplier, as a convention bureau, a venue or a PCO, or whether you might be working for an association yourself. This is the place where you can learn how to get better at your job, get more professional, and let's talk to the guy who's the boss of this place. Let's invite in the studio Martin Surk, CEO of ICA. Martin, good morning.
Good morning, Gerrit.
Third time back for us, maybe your first time for our viewers. Today we're talking again about association bidding, the core of what our business is all about, both for the associations, right? Because the conference is one of their core elements in their existence, and for us as suppliers, because that's where business comes from.
Absolutely, and I think it's very important that we do revisit this topic every so often, because what's really clear is that there's enormous change going on in the marketplace. So if you had a model for being successful in bidding for events 5 years ago, simply dusting that off and repeating it isn't necessarily going to get you anywhere.
Oh, wow.
The clients are changing, they're getting more sophisticated, the level of competition is getting much more fierce, so just to stand still, you've got to start actually running a bit faster.
Okay, let's have a look at the title of this session, Beauty, Strategy or Cash. Beauty, what does that mean?
Put very simply, it means the appeal of the destination.
Okay.
Now, that could be a touristic appeal, it could be cultural appeal, it could be the ability of a destination to attract delegates for other reasons.
Exactly.
But essentially, it's that appeal side of things.
And what do you mean with strategy then?
Well, strategy there, we're talking about the mission of the association or its strategic objectives. Now, these could be anything from recruiting new delegates or recruiting new members. It could be about expanding your knowledge base. It could be about selling products. It could be creating business opportunities for the delegates. But essentially, every association holds its meeting for very specific reasons. And all too frequently, the suppliers in our industry don't interrogate those. Exactly. They simply treat it as a logistical exercise of how many people, how many beds, how many meals, how many breakout rooms.
And that's not why they're there.
That's not why they're there.
Yeah. And then third, cash. Why are we talking about cash?
We're talking about cash because in the marketplace at the moment, there are a lot of very different models related to money. There are some destinations which have decided that they simply want to buy as much business as possible.
Okay. Literally buy?
Not exactly buy, but have a pile of money available that can be applied to meetings which meet certain criteria. Okay. And what we see is that there are very, very different ways of treating this. In some destinations, this is purely based on the size of the event or maybe the potential delegate spend. In other cases, it's more strategically aligned with the type of meetings which meet the economic development objectives or link in somehow to the intellectual capital strengths of that destination. Okay. So what we want to explore there is what elements of the financial side actually make sense to the association. Is it simply a pot of money?
Yeah.
Or is it something which is a little bit more sophisticated? Our suspicion is the latter.
Yeah, but let's find out. And you use the word "let's find out" what makes sense, because the title says "or." Right, beauty strategy or cash. We published some findings, right? We did a survey amongst association executives, and we surveyed the top 20 cities according to the ICA statistics. And those findings actually show all are important. So what do we do with that?
Well, what we did see is, of course, that every single factor we asked about, whether it was significantly or slightly more important, everything scored positively.
Yeah.
So, you know, whether it was logistics or access, but I think
that doesn't help making choices,
right? What we could see is that there were somewhere there was a much stronger emphasis on the significant importance, and others, for example, the cultural and tourism side, where there was a less of a strong emphasis.
Exactly.
Now, when we asked the question about logistics, so the infrastructure of the destination and access, we asked about the importance of outstanding infrastructure and outstanding access. And I think what's happened is that we had a level playing field. You know, everybody was saying we've got a center, we've got access, we've got an airport, we've got the hotels, we've got the know-how. And we were saying, well, now people have moved on. But actually, it seems that for many of the associations, outstanding infrastructure, outstanding access is becoming higher up on the agenda because those factors can help to support the strategic objectives.
And this gives a hint about this ISANOR. It's probably all intertwined.
It's intertwined. It's
but
complex.
Let's find out, because in the end, that's our aim today, right? Let's see if you have a chance to make a final argument where you should put the spotlight. Now, finally, to address our viewers directly, what do you hope they gain from this? Because you're going to host this session on stage. What do you hope they take away?
Well, I hope they get a more nuanced picture of what it takes to be successful. It's no longer simply good enough to be technically competent. You need to have an understanding of psychology. You need to be able to understand when do you go techie, when do you go factual, and when do you go emotional. And what we're going to try and do is see, well, where do these things fit together? Are they to do with different stages of the process, or are they simply all jumbled up together? So we're trying to take what is a very difficult, complex area and make simple sense of it, so that people have some tools that can enable them to train themselves and analyze what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong.
What a challenge.
Oh, yes. Well, it's all good fun.
Well, let's see. And make sure you stay all the way to the end, because as you might know, if you looked him up on LinkedIn, this guy, Martin Surk, CEO of ICA, is very experienced in the industry, has seen a lot, and he has a lot of thoughts. So I will have you back in the studio with me, where we'll think a little bit about the latest trends we see in the market and reflect about what we heard on stage.
Absolutely. And I look forward to having a chat with our friends from Thailand as well, including all Jason, our board member. I just want to say thanks and welcome to him, and to Noor, and to all the speakers there as well.
Super. Well, good luck on stage, and see you in a bit.
Thank you very much.
All right. And with that, let's check in, because as you are now watching, maybe you're already tweeting or chatting or participating with us. And for that, we have with us here today Gerdy Schreuders, our social media moderator. Gerdy, welcome.
Thank you.
What is happening online?
Well, it's very funny. You have to come and see this, because first of all, there are quite a lot of people online already and participating. And it's funny to see there is a poll on the homepage, and there are people joining us who have been joining us for the third time already.
Wow, veterans. Veterans. I have some idea who that might be. Well, welcome back.
But 70% of the people joining us online, this is their first time. So I think it's good that we explain a little bit how people can interact with us.
What is your role here today?
Well, I'm moderating, so I'm answering all the questions from the online audience. But I'm also moderating the tweets, so people can ask questions to the speakers, actually.
Via Twitter?
Via Twitter.
What hashtag should they use?
Association bidding.
Hashtag
so
association bidding.
Association bidding, one word.
Yeah, so just enter that in your tweet messages and they will show up here.
Exactly. You can also ask questions on the homepage. On the right side, next to the live stream, there is a box where you can ask your questions, and I will make sure that the relevant questions get up to you, so you can ask the speakers.
And can they somehow influence which questions you pick?
Yes, they can, because there is this voting system, so people can give a thumb up and then we'll find out what the most popular question is.
Perfect. Well, good luck. Anything interesting online that you found so far?
Yeah, what I think is interesting is here, this tweet. It was already from yesterday evening from Marta.
Yeah.
And
my good friend Marta Wisniewska from
Poland.
Poland.
It's your friend.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Yeah. Hi, Marta.
Well, she has been joining the RSMP here live in Amsterdam for 4 times already.
Yeah.
But now she decided to stay in Gdansk and join us online.
Okay.
Whereas her colleagues, they joined us in a hub last year. And they are here now live in Amsterdam. So they exchanged. Cool. Which brings me to the point of a hub. Because when people are sitting together and watching the live stream in a group, they can participate in a hub. There is a
virtual lounge, right?
Yeah, exactly, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll find a button on the website with instructions how to get there.
Cool, super nice.
And then we'll take a look at the hubs later this
exactly.
show.
And I guess this is a final chance to make sure that if you're watching right now, take a picture of yourself and show us and show the rest of the viewers where you are and where you're viewing this, right? Because that then creates this nice stream of pictures from all over the world.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We'd love to see where you're sitting. Good luck.
Thank you.
Please jump in if anything interesting occurs.
I'll do. Thank you.
And with that, I mean, we're talking about veterans, allows me to move to another veteran in the RSMP, Juan José Garcia.
Good morning.
Commercial Director of Barcelo Congressos.
Yes.
Welcome. We've seen you here on stage the first year we did this. You were in Thailand last year,
yes.
the Thailand seminar, which is actually going on in parallel, and now you're back here at the RSMP as a faculty leader.
Yeah.
Welcome. You're going
to
introduce your 20 years of bidding history in about 10 minutes on stage.
Yes.
I would like to go with you a little bit into the future, into the latest trends, the innovations, because on a yearly basis, how many bids and bid books do you actually produce?
Oh,
approximately.
No, but I would say that the most successful destinations in the world, they can make between 30 and 40 a year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
In our situation, like in the PCO business, it's more tough because we're not a destination. So maybe we have around 20, 25 per year.
Okay. Now, if you look back at some of these in the last 6 or 12 months, can you highlight some really cool, smart stuff that you actually changed due to some of the factors that Martin just introduced, right? Higher complexity.
There is a issue that I think that has changed dramatically our the bidding processes. And on one side is that the client has become much more professionals, so they really know what they want.
Okay.
So from our side, much more easy to identify what they want and offer a custom-made product for them.
Yeah.
But the key tool that's going to change our business dramatically is the big data.
Big data?
Big data.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean in your business?
Big data means that I know everything about you before I sit with you.
How is that?
Well, it's fantastic. ICA 2 years ago, we provided to all our members a new tool, which is called Big Data, in order to try to identify who are the leaders in certain fields in their countries or destinations. So
to
you
identify the leaders?
Yeah, the leaders in a certain field. For example, you want to work in a field like neurology, you can identify who is the more active in your field.
In the scientific community?
Yeah. Plus, you can also now in the version 2 of the big data that we have, realize if they're active or not in the business. So if they've been to a congress, so that tool allows us to know much more better our clients from their strategic point of view. Yeah. So you can align with their targets and try and become much more, I think, the future, and I'm going to speak about it now, is more about the strategic partnership that we like a supplier, and that's all. That was like in the old days.
Can you tell me one story about something you learned from that big data tool that actually changed the way you approach your bid?
Well, it's completely different because it allows us to analyze and know every single detail from our client before you sit with him. In Whitfield, the investor, really every single detail. Yeah. And from there, you really can adapt your product really what he's waiting for. So it's amazing.
So you literally change the entire text and structure of your bid book according to what you find online?
Yeah, fully. Yeah.
All right. Well, interesting.
I
think we're going to learn about the historical perspective from you.
Yes.
The big data. Do you end with the big data on stage as well?
Yeah, I'm mentioning something on that at the end.
Well, let me ask our viewers, if you have any questions to Juan José, specifically about how he uses the big data tool or about any of the stuff he's going to mention on stage, rest assured, Juan José, like the other panelists, will be back here in the studio after his appearance on stage. And then we'll use Gerdy to actually bring your questions right here in the studio and go deeper and more in depth about this. Right, Juan José, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harriet.
Enjoy your time on stage.
We will.
With that, I would like to invite you to, we're talking about stage, we're talking about Amsterdam, we're talking about the Beurs van Berlage, which is a beautiful venue here right in the middle of the city center of Amsterdam. And unfortunately, I can't walk around with you to show what it's like, but luckily the marketing department of the Beurs van Berlage has made a little clip, and I invite you to watch that before we go into our next guests, Mireille Swakhoven and Natasha Joyner, actually the association representatives here in the room. Please enjoy, have a look around the Beurs van Berlage. Well, isn't that a beautiful venue, right? As I said, right in the middle of the city of Amsterdam. Well, back here live from the Beurs van Berlage, I'm now joined by Mireille Swakhoven, who's actually the Congress Services Manager of the International Pharmaceutical Federation, FIP, and Natasha Joyner of the World Obesity Federation. Ladies, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, as I said in my introduction, you're actually invited here to represent the clients, the other side, to discover what it's actually like, all those bits and bit books that most of our viewers are preparing. Where do they end up? So it's thank you very much for that. Thank you for your openness and sharing. Just to do a quick introduction for the viewers who don't know you, the International Pharmaceutical Federation, how large is that? Give us some figures.
We are a small head office.
Yep.
10 people in The Hague,
yeah.
But we are the only international umbrella organization for national pharmaceutical organizations. We have 132 member organizations worldwide,
yeah.
And almost 4,000 individual members. We also have pharmacy schools who are members of us, so we are really represented worldwide. We are also the only non-governmental organization and in official relation with the World Health Organization.
All right. And in terms of meetings, what is your flagship conference? Is that a yearly thing? Or what
yes,
is that?
we have an annual World Congress of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences.
Yeah.
That's for between 3,000, 3,500 participants. We go worldwide, so we follow the regions of the World Health Organization. So we strive to be in a different continent every year. That is an annual congress, and in addition to that, we have every 3 years a Pharmaceutical Sciences World Congress with scientists as a specific target group. That is a bit smaller, about 1,500 participants, and also that congress goes from continent to continent.
All right, thank you. Very crisp. Natasha, how is that for you at the Obesity Federation?
We have a similar setup. So we are an umbrella organisation and we have national associations based across the world.
Yeah.
We've got about 53 national associations, which make up about 50,000 individual members. So that's how we work.
Yeah.
And we also have a very small head office,
Exactly.
just 9 people.
And in terms of international meetings, what is your flagship event?
So we have an international congress on obesity that takes place every other year. And then we also have smaller events that take place often in non-congress years. And we have 1 or 2 that happen during the congress year.
All right. And to determine where you're going with these conferences, do you use bidding procedures?
Yeah, so we are on a rotation. So we go to North America, Latin America, Europe, and then Asia. We don't have the Middle East or Africa on a rotation, which is something that we are working on, but we do follow rotation.
Exactly. And for you guys also?
Yeah, we have to be, our first requirement is that we are invited by a national member organization.
Yeah.
And so we prefer to go from continent to continent, so we don't do 2 years of Europe in a row.
Okay.
But of course there is some flexibility in that.
Exactly. Well, how that exactly works, we're going to find out more and more once you guys are on stage. Now, I would just like to use some of our minutes to share with you. Well, Mireille, you're very experienced in this business. I think over 20 years. Well, it's on your LinkedIn profile. It's on your LinkedIn profile. And Natasha, you're actually quite fresh in this business. You both must have seen quite a lot of bid books already, either from experience or just now and looking at this. What is this? Can you share some nice anecdotes, like some do's and let's do don'ts? It's even more interesting. Stuff you get on your desk and like, how can they do that?
I think the big thing for me is the wrong company name.
Wrong company name?
Double check as many times as possible.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, that seems a very obvious one, but you even get that in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for you?
We hate it when people send very general information, like in our request for proposal we have a very specific listing of, for example, different rooms we need.
Yeah.
And then if you get in response just a general brochure of the Congress Center, that is really a no-go. That's
oh wow! But this is I was hoping for some very practical tips for you guys, but this seems like open
make
doors.
it personal. Make it personal, and make sure that you have the correct person within the organization to address it to, and show that you paid attention to the preparation.
And how much are you guys doing to actually share that information publicly? I mean, is this all easy findable, or do I have to call first to make sure who I address it to? How does it work?
I mean, for us, it's on our website, but I mean, we're happy to take calls. I mean, it saves us a lot of time in the long run if people.
But it's not that you're hiding this and I have to go into big data sources to figure out who I need. No, it's all there.
Yeah.
So basically, your key message here before, and we'll hear about, is pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do your homework.
Okay. Well, cool. That seems like a great first takeaway. It's a very simple one. If you want to go deeper, well, like I said before, if you just joined us, make sure you enter your questions either on the right side of your screen to the Slido question box or to Twitter using #AssociationBidding. So after your performance on stage, we have you here in the studio and we can more nitty-gritty go deeper into your experiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you very briefly and see you back on stage.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. And with that, I'm going to try something very exciting, something innovative in the history of the ICA RSMP, which is I'm going to try to make a live connection with our friends in Thailand. The Thailand Convention Exhibition Bureau is hosting an ICA seminar in parallel to this one, where this session here in Amsterdam is actually on their afternoon program. And with me, I'm going to put my headphones on, is Miss Vichaya Saratun. Vichaya, can you hear me? I cannot hear you at the moment. Wait a second. Let me see what happens here. I hear something, but I don't hear you yet. Wait. Why is Thailand? Can you say something, Vichaya? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. I don't know if your technicians can turn the volume up a little bit. So, welcome live here in the show. Finally, in the third edition. It's good to see you. Obviously, you're the director for conventions of the Thailand Convention Exhibition Bureau. I would like to know, what are you as a convention bureau doing to actually help your partners and your suppliers to be more innovative in their bidding procedures?
Okay. We do support our organization, association a lot, starting from planning and helping them to analyze, the bid requirement and such. And with the recent approach that we are changing now from the bidding, right now we are working on more of the team efforts. Because what we have right now, we establish what we call Thai team, where they have offices around the world. And we are working on is not actual bidding or making document. We do the pre-work before. Okay. So what we do, we study the association. Of course, we work with countries and identifying the associations where home base in Thailand, and then work with the Thai team where they have offices abroad, that they have the international associations. And we would start from building relationship with them through our team there, and then acquiring information like the rotation-wise, their interests and that to gain information. And then also with the team, we sometimes work on the actual bidding as well. Okay. Say if we need to do some organizing a reception or even to have someone to represent Thailand there.
All right. Super cool. So you introduced the concept of the Thai team and you try to do all the pre-work. Now, you have been in the industry for a while also. May I ask you, what changes do you see in the marketplace? What are your recent observations about where the International Association Meetings industry is going?
Oh, okay. Well, that's quite, with the recent years, there's quite a lot of change because instead of just have beautiful destinations and, wonderful facilities or high-tech thing, they are now, the associations, they are now more interested in having partnership. Okay. So they're more concerned about their well-being, the health of their associations. So often we will get asked, can you help us with the gathering the partner or finding the local suppliers? So this is pretty much on that. It's not that, can cater this many people anymore. It's change.
All right. Well, that's a great observation, and it seems to be a little bit in line to what Juan Jose is going to talk about. I think Martin Cirk is ready, so I'm going to close this off, and let's join all together to stage and see what this session will be like. We'll be checking back with you guys in Thailand right after the show to hear what your experience was like. Goodbye. Thank you.